You gain a pound, lose a pound. Lose 2, then gain 2 back. You cut out all the junk food long ago, but now you've suddenly stopped losing weight. The plateau. It's common with a lot of guys and insanely frustrating. Consistently eating healthy and watching your fat loss hit a wall. So, let's go over the top healthy eating weight loss mistakes and identify solutions to get you back on track. Okay, let's go. The first mistake is overlooking calories in drinks and toppings. One common overlooked healthy drink is the smoothie. Often hailed as one of the better sources of nutrients and vitamins, it can be a very sneaky source of excess calories. Sugar is the biggest culprit here, but most guys don't add in sugar. But sugar substitutes and too much fruit can be just as damaging. Agave, for example, is in fact natural and organic, but is pure sugar at its core. And certain fruits like mangoes and grapes have some of the highest sugar content in all fruit. If you're filling your blender high with them, you may be consuming more than you're aware. Same with nut butters. Almond butter and peanut butter are considered great sources of protein for your smoothie. And while they do have a solid amount of protein, especially for vegetarians, they can be deceptively high in calories. And if you're not measuring out your almond butter, you may be overconsuming. A well-crafted, healthy smoothie can have enough hidden calories to dwarf a large soda. Alcohol is another area where you might be consuming hidden calories, especially if you like cocktails. While it does have calories in itself, about 7 per gram, a glass of whiskey over ice is probably not making you fat. But that Long Island iced tea has enough calories in it to surprise you. It may taste tart and refreshing, but that caloric enemy is very hidden. Stick to liquor over ice, light beer, and wine, and keep the drinking as an occasional treat. Next is additives like dressings, creamers, and condiments. We force ourselves to eat that uber-healthy salad only to add in too much dressing. A salad that started off with almost no calories at all has now taken us over the top. And most of us don't measure dressing. We pour it on until it looks right. That's where it gets us. Same with sauces. Sauces make or break a meal, but are also easy to overuse on our meats or pasta. Not to mention, most of the best sauces are full of sugar. Now, condiments are usually okay, but we're well aware of mayonnaise. It's just full of calories. Not always bad calories, as it's mostly eggs and friendly fat, but those extra calories can add up if you're slathering it on your wings and burgers. We know that coffee can be great for building muscle. It gets us motivated, and the caffeine itself is a positive component for strength development. But some of us must cut the bitterness with a creamer or dairy. Designer creamers are very suspect and can be quite unhealthy. And cream itself, while not inherently bad, does have quite a few calories. If you're drowning yourself in coffee and cream all day, it may be a contributing factor to your plateau. Second is eating at restaurants or out too often. One of the main issues here, obviously, is that you cannot control what you're eating. All restaurants are a business and don't hesitate to focus on taste and enjoyment of eating over calories and nutrition. For instance, some restaurants may use certain cooking oils that you would never use at home, or add sugar or sweeteners to food to make them taste a little bit more enticing. Even if you're careful when ordering, these behind-the-scenes additions can be pushing your calorie cap way over. Now, one strategy is to plan things as much as possible when eating out. First, obviously, is not to overindulge on items you never planned on eating in the first place. The biggest offender here is bread. So many restaurants just put bread on the table as an automatic appetizer. At other restaurants, tortilla chips, chips and salsa are supplied sometimes endlessly. Same with drinks. Be very careful with free refills of your drink if it's anything other than water. Another planning strategy is to research certain restaurants or chains that actually publish their nutritional data. This will usually be a chain restaurant that have consistent offerings. More fancy or custom restaurants that have revolving menus won't usually allow for this. Either way, you can still make smart choices by seeking out items that aren't filled with unnecessary sugars, seed oils, or processed additives. The last strategy is to cook at home whenever possible, especially when you're in a plateau. You can control the food, the additives, the cooking, and the portions. If you have time, you can even cook ahead for meals to bring with you to work or outings. Of course, this can be dull and ruin the fun of going out, but it may be the spark to get you back on track to losing weight and hitting your goal. Third is eating food that is not as healthy as you think. Just like with restaurants, the food industry is a business focused on selling food. And while marketing food is regulated, it's not as consumer friendly as you might think. Essentially, these are foods that are packaged or labeled as healthy for you. This marketing strategy goes back decades to the low-fat craze. Today, it's organic or heart healthy or whole grain. And while true, they're not always helpful when trying to lose weight. In fact, some of the food under those labels may actually contribute to weight gain. Always do your homework when buying food that is labeled. Read it all and understand what's in the product, not just the front side marketing that is designed to get your attention. Another current catchphrase today is low carb and vegan. These also may be true statements, but might not be ideal for weight loss. Now, low carb can be terrific for weight loss. Keto and carnivore diets have a ton of advocates, and studies have shown the effects of these diets. But packaged low-carb food can be misleading by what it's not telling you. It could be loaded with low-carb sweeteners, high-calorie fats, or other processed items that could sabotage your weight loss progress. Same with vegan. We've already talked about bread and chips and salsa. Both are vegan, both can be easily overeaten and completely destroy your calorie cap. There is a ton of vegan processed food that simply should not be eaten. While vegan usually means healthy, read the label just like anything else. Fourth is simply overeating. We've touched on this a bit already, but if you're overeating anything, your body has to deal with this influx of food and calories somehow, and the usual way is storage. While we don't advocate calorie counting here, when you're in a plateau, you need to use all the tools. Do an assessment and account for what you're eating. Knowledge is power, and if you know exactly what you're consuming, then you may have the answer to dig yourself out. So you can assess your eating for a short period of time, analyze it, and make the changes you identify. Test it and see what happens. Now, fifth and final is muscle. This is the other side of the coin, calorie burn. Muscle burns more because your metabolism is increased with more muscle mass. Strength training is the key for men's physical fitness for many reasons, but particularly effective for breaking that plateau. So first is that burn. The training itself will create a calorie deficit, but building muscle will also burn more at a state of rest. Your BMR will increase and stay elevated throughout the day, even when you're sleeping. It's not enough by itself, but a key part of the overall fat loss strategy. Resistance training also improves insulin sensitivity, where your body can metabolize and digest sugars more efficiently. Almost all food is converted into glucose, and insulin is used by the body to handle glucose. If your body is better at handling it, then you're in a better state to burn fat and lessen the need to store it as much as you did. And further, lifting weights uses your glucose stores in your muscles. This is the primary energy source for strength training. Glycogen in your muscles gets depleted and is replenished during recovery. Therefore, when you add proper rest and insulin efficiency, strength training will lead to gains that directly impact your metabolism and directly impact your weight loss. So ultimately, lift hard to complement those adjustments you made in your diet. So keep your focus on these tips and shatter that nagging plateau into pieces. Check out this video for more male fitness mastery, and we will see you next time.